Alright, guys, so we are going to start the question I have given in the assignment in the last class. I know this question was tricky and most of the students may feel challenging to do it. But obviously, the try is must. The try is very must. If you are doing F5, always try to do the question. Even it's like done 70%, 60%, 50%, 40%. Don't be worried about that. Just try. If you are like willing to try something, it will help you a lot in F5 exam. So let's start. If you have not even done that assignment first, maybe wrong. Just pause the lecture. First do the assignment. First do this question yourself. Then watch this lecture, right? So the question says that there is a company for which we have to calculate using absorption costing. First calculation we have to do, and we have to calculate basically production overhead per unit for using absorption costing, and then by using ABC. Just part A and B was the assignment, part C and D was not the assignment. Okay. So the question says that there are two products, A plus and double plus. So first, using absorption costing. Using absorption costing, we know in absorption costing there is only single OAR. Single OAR that is calculated using budgeted overheads divided by budgeted activity level. Budgeted activity level. So there is a single OAR in this case. Single OAR in the numerator upward we have to write the total overheads of the business. Total overheads of the business. So if we read the question, this is all the details of like cost drivers. We'll see that in the ABC. But here all the costs, all the overheads are being given, and these overheads totaled 432,000. 432,000, that's the relevant amount which we will use to calculate the OAR, because obviously in absorption we'll not divide the overheads into the specific specific items and then divide it on the relevant base. Obviously in ABC will do that. So in absorption we'll take complete overheads for $32,000 for 32,000 divided by budgeted activity level. Okay, so here it's written that traditional absorption costing, and we have to take the base direct labor hours as you as mentioned in the question, that overheads are recovered on direct labor hours means the base is labor hours. So we'll calculate first total labor hours, because obviously if overheads are written in total, the base, the labor hours should also be written here in total. So we'll calculate that total labor hours. So it's written here direct labor hours per unit. Direct labor hours per unit. Direct labor hours per unit. So per unit is $1 per unit for plus and 1.5 for double plus. We'll calculate in total. So I am calculating here total labor hours for plus and double plus. So for plus, it was 1 hour per unit and total number of units 24,000. It's written upward. It's written upward. And for double plus, it is 1.5 multiply 24,000. So it will be 24,000 here and 36,000 total hours being worked on double plus. We'll get the answer from here. Total labor hours that are being worked on both of the product complete business. Labor hours incurred were 60,000 hours. So we'll use that 60,000 hours here. 60,000 hours here. So OAR will be 432,000. 432,000 divided by 60,000, that is 7.2. That is $7.2 per labor hour. $7.2 per labor hour. This is the OAR that was under the concept of absorption costing, not ABC. Because in ABC we have to calculate a lot of OARs according to the bases that are given in question. So here complete overheads divided by the base, total base, and answer is 7.2 per labor hour. Now there are two units like plus and double plus. For both, we have to calculate production overhead per unit, because the purpose of OAR is just to calculate the production overhead per unit that we are going to calculate now. So for plus and for double plus, how we'll calculate it? See, we have the OAR, the standard that is set by the company according to the budget, that was that if one labor hour is worked, $7.2 of overheads will be incurred according to absorption. So the base will be the OAR, the base will be same for both of them per hour and $7.2 per hour. Multiply, we need now that on how much units we need, how much hours are being incurred on 1 unit of this product. So if we see the plus, if you see the plus, so 1 unit of plus takes only one labor hour, so just multiply it with 1 hour because it is taking 1 hour, it is taking 1 hour. 7.2 multiply 1, it's 7.2 per unit, 7.2 per unit. So for plus, obviously it's taking only 1 hour, and when 1 hour is gone, $7.2 of overheads are incurred. So $7.2 of overheads will be incurred on 1 unit of plus. That we got the answer. And for double plus, obviously there is 1.5 hours per unit. Basically, 1 unit of double plus takes 1.5 hours. 1.5 hours. For that, answer will be different. It will be 7.2 into 1.5, $10.8. 10.8 per unit. $10.8 per unit. So these are the answers of production overheads per unit using absorption costing. Using absorption costing. Using absorption costing. Wait. These are the answer of production overhead per unit using absorption costing. So we have to calculate like production overhead per unit. Yes, we have calculated that. If in the case they are telling you to calculate the total cost per unit, I think he has not asked us total. He has not asked us for calculating production overhead per unit, but he said calculate total production cost per unit. Production cost per unit means that production overheads as well as the direct cost. And in the question at the start, they have given us direct cost as well. Like direct cost is 12 for the plus and 24 for double plus. So if you want to calculate total cost, you can also calculate that total cost per unit. Basically, total cost means total production cost. Total production cost per unit will be for plus, and for double plus, what we'll do that the direct cost was 24 and 12 and 24. So $12, $24 direct cost plus production overhead per unit we have calculated 7.2 and 10.8. This is in case if they are asking for production cost per unit, not production overhead per unit. Production overhead per unit we have calculated that, and we know in production cost, direct cost and production overhead both are included. So 12 plus 7.2, it's 19.2, and 24 plus 10.24 plus 10.8 is 34.8. This is the complete production cost per unit for both of the products. We have done the first requirement easily. We have done the first A requirement easily. Complete production overhead per unit we have calculated. I am going to highlight the main answers. This is the main answer. And for the production overhead per unit, obviously we have calculated this, and this is calculated using the help of OAR that we have calculated here, 7.2 per direct labor hour. So it is the case scenario according to absorption costing. Now I am going to take this and just copy pasting it to the right side, and we'll do, I'm writing it here. Now we'll do the same question using ABC activity based costing. Okay, guys. Okay, so let's start the other part, ABC. For ABC, obviously, first we have to identify proper cost and the cost basis. For ABC, under ABC, first we'll calculate proper overheads and its basis first. Then we will calculate proper OARs. So number one overhead is we have different overheads. We have different overhead setup cost. These are the overheads written here. Wait. Okay. Number one, setup cost. So for the setup cost, if we come to know about the base for that, so here are the some bases given, and if we see is the setup given, yes, there are some bases given. If I mention it, this is written number of setups per batch, number of setups per batch. That's given here. That's given here. So we will write here The, that's written here that we'll write here. Basis is the base for setup cost is number of setup. The more setup the product will take, the more cost of overhead will go to that product. Obviously, IBC says that do divide the overheads on fair basis. Simple. Second, second overhead, special parts handling. Special handlings means special part handling. For that, special parts per unit, that is like given here easily you can see that it's written here special parts per unit. So we'll write here it is special parts. Okay. Third, third overhead is other material handling. OMH. Other material handling. OMH. The base is okay. So they have given us the basis, right? I've not seen the right that on in front of that they have given the basis. Okay, let's write that it's number of batches. They have given us the base, the number of batches. And for the fourth one, other handlings, number of orders. Okay, they have already given us the cost drivers in front of that number of orders because these bases are the cost drivers. CD means cost drivers. And for the fifth, other overheads. For other overheads, if you see, they have given us no cost driver. So what do you have to do for that? You are like in the tensed. You're tensed. Why they have not given the base? So sometimes a business have very minimal overheads, like not material, not material means that there doesn't matter. That's low overheads, less amount, maybe less amount or higher amount, but it's like small overheads. So for that basis, if you are going to research the basis, it will take a lot of time. So for that overheads, what business do? Just select a single base like as an absorption. So for the other overheads, they have written other overheads costs do not have an identifiable cost driver. Okay, they don't have to have any cost driver. And in an ABC system, these overheads, which overheads? These other overheads would be recovered means the base will be on the direct labor hours. So for that, the base will be direct labor hours. So for other overheads, they have not given the cost driver, but mentioned in the question that and under the basis that they don't have any identifiable cost driver, and in ABC system, these overheads would have the base of direct labor hours. So we have first we have to do to find the basis relevant basis for overheads. Sometimes they have given in the question like that, and in the last question they have not given. We have identified ourselves. No issue. Okay. So now let's continue. Now, second step was to calculate OAR. Let me take this part on the right so that we can calculate OAR easily. And question is like in front of us. Otherwise, it will disturb us again and again. Okay, number of setup bases. Yeah, okay. Now, it was the first step we have done. Find the relevant base. Now, second step is to calculate OARs. Second step is to calculate OARs. So there are five types of cost. Five OARs will be calculated. Number one, OAR for setup cost. OAR for setup cost. SC means setup cost. For the OAR for setup cost, obviously the formula is we know OAR is calculated using cost pool. Here we say it cost pool divided by cost driver. Cost pool divided by cost driver. Let's see the what setup cost was. The setup cost was 73,200. Okay, let's write in the numerator upward 73,200 divided by base is number of setups. Base is number of setups. But here one thing, the main issue here is this is a technical point. We have not studied this technical point earlier in any question, right? There is a technical point. Listen, what students do here, what mistakes students do here. It's written number of setups 1 and 3. What students do? 1 plus 3, 4, 73, 200 divided by 4. No! They have told you number of setups per batch. Means understand the concept. Understand, my students, understand the concept. It's written 1 per batch, 3 per batch. They have not mentioned number of total setups 1 and 3. No, Number of setups per batch means that for one batch, number of setups in plus is 1 and double plus is 3. So if it's written like that, that number of setups per batch, so you have to find how many batches were there to calculate the total setups being incurred. So if you see the total number of batches are given upward, and it's written 12 batches for plus, 240 batches for double plus, and for each. Wait a minute, guys, wait a minute. So guys, what we were saying that setups per batch, if it is having 12 batches or 240 batches, so first we have to calculate total setups, because we can't just write here that it's like 3 plus 1 4 and we write here 4. No, it will calculate it wrong, right? So for that I am going to write here for number working one, number of setups and plus and double plus. For plus, it's I think so one setup per batch, one setup per batch, and here three setups per batch. Now we will calculate the total setups by multiplying the relevant number of batches. Batches are 12 batches for it and 240 batches for it. So it will be for plus total setups will be 12, and for it 240 into 3. It will be I think so 720. Okay, 720. So 720 plus 12, 720 plus 12. 732 batches are, so 732 setups will be arranged. 732 setups will be arranged here. Why? Because we can't do 1 plus 3 directly 4, because it was setups per batch. So we'll write here 732 setups. 732 setups. We'll calculate the proper OAR, because now have just divided in the relevant, on the relevant setups, relevant total setups. 732 divided by 732,100 divided by 732, it will be $100 per setup. $100 per setup. It is the first OAR we have calculated. It is the first, my students, my beautiful students, it is the first OAR we have calculated. Okay, okay. Now, second OAR we have to calculate like same. Now it's special handling. And what special handling, the base was special parts. Now see what's it written, special parts per unit, just like we have done here per batch, then we have multiplied by batches. Here it's written special part per unit, so you will not do like 1 plus 4 is equal to 5. No, it's not total special parts, it's written special parts per unit, and number of units we have given here, they've given here. See, 24,000, 24,000. So again, for the special handlings or the special parts, what we'll do, number of special parts, total special parts we have to calculate here properly for plus and for double plus. For plus, what we will write here, that it's like one special part per unit and four special parts. One special part per unit and four special parts per unit, and for both the units were same, obviously 24,000 and 24,000. So it will be 24,000 in total special parts. Okay, special parts, and 96,000 here special parts. In total, it will be 96 plus 24, 120,000 special parts. 120,000 special parts. So we come to know that number of special parts in total were 120,000. So now we'll calculate in the numerator upward, we'll write the cost. It's 60,000. It's 60,000. And total number of special parts were 120,000. 120,000 special parts. SP means special parts. So I have calculated here $0.5 per special part. $0.5 per special part is the OAR. Is the OAR for this special handling cost. Special parts handling cost. Special parts handling cost. Special part handling cost. Okay. Now we have third. Now we have third OR. Obviously, again, five overheads, five types of overheads, five OR will be calculated. This we have to do. There's no other solution. Okay. OAR, third OAR is of other material handling. If we see the total cost, it's again we can take from here 63,000. It can be obviously found easily, but in the denominator down, we have to use number of batches. Here the number of batches are given, number of batches are 12 and 240. Now its number of batches, it doesn't have any base like number of batches per this. No, just number of batches. Now we can do easily sum up. Now you don't need to calculate, multiply anything. Here it was per batch and per unit. Where this per batch per unit, you have to focus on that. If it's number of batches, simple. Okay, number of batches. Just total it up. So 252 will be the base. 252 will be the base here, and we can calculate 63,000 divided by 252. It's $250 per batch. $250 per batch. $250 per batch. $250 per batch. Okay. Afterwards, there is OAR of other handling for which number of orders were the base. Okay, the cost is dollar 19,800, 19,800, and the base will be obviously number of orders, and it's written here number of orders 10 and 140 means in total. Means in total. It's not number of orders per this. No, number of orders only. 10 plus 140, it will be 150 orders. So 19,800 divided by 150 will be 132. $132 per order. $132 per order. $132 per order. So these all are the OARs we have calculated. Okay, I think we have missed one. Last one as well. There is OAR of other overheads. Other overheads. Okay, other overheads, how much? 216,000. 216,000 other overheads divided by base is labor hours. Labor hours we have already calculated. We don't want to do, we don't calculate again because we have calculated in the absorption part. If you remember here in absorption, we have calculated total labor hours were 60,000. Remember? 1 hour and 1.5 hour multiplied 24,000 coming 60,000 total direct labor hours. So divided by 60,000 hours. Here the base will be labor hours as he has mentioned in the question. That's why 216,000 divided by 60,000, it's dollar 3.6 per labor hour. 3.6 per labor hour. So these are all the OARs that we have calculated for each type of obviously overhead. We have to calculate different OARs. The reason of giving you it is in the assignment was so that you can see the technical calculations. You can see the technical calculations and all that, right? Okay. So, okay, all OARs we have calculated. Now the second step obviously will be calculating the production overhead per unit, for which I have told you basically it's the third step. So first step, identifying cost effort. Second, OARs. Third was absorb overheads to products. Absorb overheads to products. Now we have two products, plus and double plus. Plus and double plus. Let us change the color so that we don't get bored. Let's do color. Okay. So now plus and double plus. Now we'll use calculate the total cost per product. Okay. First was setup cost. First was right setup cost. Right. We'll write here for setup cost. Now for setup cost, if we see what was the OAR, it was 100 per setup. Now this must be in your mind that OAR is same for every product. So 100 per setup, and here also 100 per setup, but we'll multiply it with their number of setups. If we go to the working where we have calculated number of setups, so if you see only 12 setups was for plus and 720 setups were for double plus. So for plus there was 12 setups, total number of setups we have to multiply. So for plus obviously we were having 12 setups, and for double plus we were having 720 setups. So we will multiply with the number of setups of the relevant product. Now 100 into 12, obviously $1,200 here, and $72,000 of amount here. So we have just apportioned on the basis of number of setups. Obviously double plus is taking a lot of setups. There is a lot of 720 and 12, too much big difference. So the product with a higher, very much higher, like significantly higher number of setups than plus, obviously the cost part, the more cost part will go to double plus. That's why see 72,000 and 1200, a lot of difference. Okay. After that, second was special handling. Special handling OAR was 0.5 per special part. Special handling will write here special handling. For special handling, if we see, it's $0.5 per special part. Multiply with, we'll see that multiply, we'll see what is the how many special parts for both product. Acha. Now, so 0.5 per special part, special handling. If we see number of special parts, so total number of special parts for plus was 24,000 and double plus was 96,000. So just what you will do, multiply 24,000 special parts, multiply 96,000 special parts. So it will be $12,000 here, $12,000 here, and it will be $48,000 here, $48,000 here. And one thing I am going to disclose now. See, what was the total cost of setup? See, what was the total cost of setup? It was 73,200, right? It was 73,200. If you add up both of them, 7,200 and 1,200, these both. So obviously it will be 73,200. Same like the second one. What was the total special handling cost? 60,000. So see here, 12,000 goes to plus, 48,000 goes to double plus, means total 60,000. It means we're not doing wrong. It's an indication we are doing right. That actual total amount is divided into two products on relevant basis. This is the concept. After that, there was other material handling. Other material handling was 250 per batch. Oh yeah, other material handling $250 per batch, and obviously if here 250, then for the other product also OAR will be same 250 per batch. Just we have to multiply with the relevant batches now. Obviously plus have total batches 12 and here 240. These are the number of batches 12 and 240. So just multiply with 12 and 240. So answers will be 250 into 12, $3,000 here, and 240 into 250, 60,000 will be there. And if you see 60 plus 3, 63,000, and other material cost is 63,000. After that, other handlings OAR was 132 per order. Other handlings $132 per order, and obviously if it's 132, it's 132 for other product as well. Just multiply number of orders for the relevant product of how many number of orders were there. 10 and 140, right? Yes, 10 and 140. So we'll do here 10 and 140. It will be $1,320, and it will be here 132 into 18480. We are calculating the total cost for each product, total cost of specific overheads. After that, at last, we will do per unit, right? Now, last other overheads, the base was, I think, so 3.6 per labor hour, 3.6 per labor hour, and same here, $3.6 per labor hour, multiply with the relevant labor hours of this products. So labor hours for the relevant product we have calculated here. It was 24,000 and 36,000. 24,000 labor hours and 36,000 for plus and double plus. Okay, so 24,000 into 3.6, 86,400. 86,400 and 36,000 into 3. 129,600, 129,600, 129,600 Obviously, if we'll add both of them, we'll get the answer of 216,000. That is the total of the other overheads, right? So here we have calculated all the answers. Here we have calculated all the answers. If we see that these are the answer, this is the answer, then this is the answer. We have to basically, this is relevant for us. Then we have, obviously, these are the answers, right? Just I am marking for your understanding. These are the answers. Then these are the answers. So all answers we have got, but it is in total. Now what we have to do for both of the products, plus and double plus, we will calculate total production overheads first. Total production overheads first. No doubt, absorption costing time takes less time, and it takes a lot of time, but obviously we have to do the practice. 12,000 1200 plus we have will calculate for total for plus first. The 12,100 plus 12,000 plus 3,000 plus 1320 plus 86,400. The total overheads, production overheads for plus was 103920. Now for it, it's 72,000 plus 48,000 plus 60,000 plus 18480 plus 129,600. 129,600. It's 328,080. These are the final production overhead. These are the final total production overhead that we have calculated, and just now divide by units. We know that for both products, the units were 24,000. If you remember, the units given in the question for both were 24,000. That you will get production overhead per unit from here. So 328,080 divided by 24,000. It's 13.67 per unit. And on the other hand, we have 103,920 divided by 24,000. It's 4.33. It's 4.33. So here we have got the production overheads per unit for both of the products for which were calculating the large question, right? So now what the question was that we have to calculate the total cost. So for total cost, just add the direct cost in it. Direct cost, if we'll add it, then we'll get total production cost per unit, because he is not asking for the production overhead per unit. He's asking for production cost per unit. Just add the direct cost as mentioned here in the start. It's given 12 and 24. Just use it. Just use it here in the calculations. 12 and 24. So it will be 16.33 per unit, and it will be 37.67 per unit. If you see the production overheads we have calculated here, if you see the production overheads, production cost per unit we have calculated. If you see that, I want to tell you one thing here, that here 116.33 and here 37.67. But when we were using the ABC, at start, before this, it was 19.2 and 34.8. There is a lot of difference, because there if you see what was the was it 16.33 and it's 37.37, but here if you see it's 34.8 and 19.2. It means the difference is due to the wrong basis we were using. The difference is due to the wrong basis we were using in the absorption. We are using only labor hours, therefore all of the overheads, not like taking not be we will not be worried there for any basis. But in ABC we have to calculate a long question. Again, long question will not come in the exam. This is just for the practice and concept, so that we can do the MCQs easily. But in this question we have done the entire technical calculation, where per unit per batches game was there. We have to convert it properly. Then we have learned about the proper steps, that how to do the calculations and all that. So it was all from my side. The assignment has been discussed. Meet you guys in the next class. Till then, take care. Bye.